Morning, rockers. I had a friend of mine hit me up on Facebook Messenger the other morning. I was going to do this video yesterday, but I actually had the stomach bug, so I literally slept the last pretty much 30 hours straight. Felt like complete crap, but anyway, I'm back now, kicking better than ever. So basically, what he said was he wanted some music to listen to, and he knows I know a lot of stuff other than the mainstream stuff that basically everyone and their mom would know. So he wanted three, so that gave me an idea for a video, and I might do this, periodically more often. These are 10 albums in no particular order that I recommend checking out. And this one I also gave a bonus one, so there's actually 11, but who's counting? I saved that. I shuffled these CDs. That way they showed up in random order. That way I don't feel like I'm picking favoritism here. The only thing I did do on purpose is I put the bonus one last. All right, so, and these are mostly albums that the average person probably didn't hear all the way through. Now, obviously, I look at my demographics. I see a lot of the guys that watch my channel and subscribe to me, lived through the greatest era of rock and roll. So a lot of you guys might know most of them, but I'm sure there's something in here that most of you haven't heard all the way through, or probably haven't heard all the way through in a long time. But yeah, this is particularly geared to the younger people, which, look who's talking. I'm 31, 32 in less than a month. But anyway, we're going to start out with Supertramp's Crisis What Crisis. Now, everybody knows Breakfast in America, and for good reason. Breakfast in America is a rock and roll masterpiece. But so is this one. Now look at the track listing here. Sister Moonshine and a Soapbox Opera are kind of Supertramp at their finest, to be completely honest with you. The other song that comes to mind that's not on this album is on Breakfast in America, and it's Just Another Nervous Wreck. But honestly, if you haven't listened to this album ever, or that case is broke, I forgot about that, or maybe you have heard it before, it's not in a very long time, I highly recommend it. Give it another listen. And for the young people that only know the radio hits, there's much more to Supertramp than that. And I truly believe that this is a very good place to start if you're interested in giving them a chance. Genesis Duke. Now this is an album that goes back to my childhood. My dad had it on cassette. Now, this one, everybody, well, not everybody, but most of you guys are going to know Turn It On Again and Misunderstanding. But this is a concept album, and it rolls really good if you play it from start to finish. And there's a hidden gem on this album, too. It's track number 6. It's probably my favorite Genesis song ever. It's slower, but again, it's well written, good lyrics, and it just sounds really good, like it flows. I forgot about that. That's funny. Oh man. Anyway, we're getting off topic a little bit here. So yeah, I highly recommend checking out the Duke album by Genesis. Now I know a lot of people are probably gonna jump on this and say this is when Phil Collins over Genesis, when they were starting to, a lot of people criticize them for leaning a little poppy, which they did at times, but I don't consider this album to fall into that category. It's, like I said, it's a very, very unique album. It doesn't really have any dull moments. I have no problem in recommending that album to nobody. Cat Stevens, he's an interesting guy. But this album's awesome. Cat Stevens isn't really an artist that I can listen to like a lot of their albums, but his albums, I should say. But Teasing the Firecat holds a special place, because when I was a kid, I had it on 8-track. And I randomly put it in, and the song that was playing on the 8-track, I'll never forget it, was Bitter Blue. And honestly, I have never, to this day, heard a Cat Stevens song that I like better than that. Now, this album does have its moments. Changes 4 is good. Tuesday's Dead. Morning is Broken slow, but I didn't like it back in the day, but now I really enjoy it. Moonshadow's good. And Peace Train's a hit on this one. They don't really play it on the radio much, though, on the classic rock stations for some reason. And I don't really know why, because Peace Train, like, even lyrically, and just, I like it. I guess a lot of people will criticize it and say it's poppy leaning, but Bitter Blue is definitely not pop. So if you haven't, if you have this album laying around or you ever get a chance, give it a listen. Of course, my favorite artist anyway. This is an album here that has 2 hits on it. Allentown and Pressure are the 2 hits. However, they are 2 of the last song is probably the weakest song on the album. But Allentown and Pressure are probably they're kind of weak in comparison to the rest of the album, to be completely honest with you. I mean, as good as Allentown and Pressure are, Goodnight Saigon, amazing. She's Right on Time is the best song on this album by far. A Room of Her Own is awesome. Surprise is amazing. Scandinavian Skies, shit. I wish I knew about Scandinavian Skies back when I smoked. That's a freaking... I don't even know how to really describe Scandinavian Skies, but if you haven't heard this album all the way through, please check it out and let it roll from start to finish. Allentown's an excellent opener. And this is also the only album where he drops the F-bomb in. Random fact. I don't think many people are going to argue with this one. But again, this album has no hits on it at all, which is really sad. But I believe this is our first A&M release. This is after the Wooden Nickel era, which the Wooden Nickel era is actually really good too. But yeah, this is an album you can play all the way through, no problem. It's awesome. So people that think that Paradise Theater and The Grand Illusion are the only good Styx albums, think again, because you obviously never checked out. If you think that, you've never checked out Equinox, you've never checked out Crystal Ball, Styx 2. Well, Styx 2 was back to the Wooden Nickel era, but don't matter. It's still Styx. Pieces of 8 is amazing, but Crystal Ball is special. There's a lot of people that'll probably agree with me on that and say this is the best one. I don't know what my favorite Styx album is. Pieces of 8 probably, but again, Pieces of 8 has a lot of hits on it that a lot of people are gonna know. I'm trying to stick to the ones that are lesser known or that the average person doesn't really know, wouldn't know every song on. Van Halen, Fair Warning. This album has a lot happening. It's probably the rockiest one. Not all the way through. It has its slower moments, which isn't bad. But they made a lot of noise in this record. Mean Street's amazing. Sinner Swing, Dirty Movies is awesome. Unchained is completely badass. Like I said, the best advice I can give you, if you ever get a chance to hear this album, do it. You will not be disappointed. Van Halen, Fair Warning. I was a toss-up between this one and number 2, because number 2 only has 2 hits on it. It has Dance the Night Away and Beautiful Girls, but I chose Fair Warning with this one just for the sole purpose of the only real hit on here is Unchained. And it's definitely a more unique record. This one, everybody knows Love Hurts in the title track, although it's amazing how many people don't know what the the actual name of the title track is. The song is not called Son of a Bitch. It's not. It's mostly freaking younger people that say that. But look at that track listing. It's awesome. This whole entire album is badass. It's early heavy, and I think it's heavy metal, with the exception of Love Hurts, obviously. But it's early. It's classic hard rock and heavy metal at its finest, in my opinion. And in my opinion, it is their best album. I mean, I haven't heard every single one of their records, so Nazareth is one of those bands I honestly need to dig more into, because I will never claim to know everything. But what I do know, I can talk a lot about what I do know, and I know that this album is badass. And I also know that the other couple of Nazareth albums that I've checked out, Close Enough to Rock and Roll, they have their moments, but it's not Hair of the Dog. Hall & Oates, Abandoned Luncheonette. This album has an amazing backstory behind it. I'd love to get into it one day. Maybe I will. Maybe I will go into the Abandoned Luncheonette story one day. I'm not going to do it right now, though, because I don't want to get off topic. But yeah, this album is not hard rock by any means. but it is rock and roll, and it's awesome. When the Morning Comes is a great opener. She's Gone is amazing, and the sax solo and like in the middle of it's just phenomenal. The title track is awesome. Lady Rain, and like I said, I highly recommend giving this album a listen if you haven't done so already. No shame at all. His best album by far, Frampton's Camel. Now, this is a remastered version, unfortunately, and I picked it up years and years and years ago. It was at the Andorra Shopping Center in Roxborough section of Philly when I was still a kid yet. Because this is an 8-track I had too. Now, the original A&M release does exist, but it's very rare and usually pretty expensive when it shows up. I've only ever seen it come up on eBay a handful of times. But that track listing though, I Got Miles and You is incredible. All Night Long is freaking amazing. Lines on My Face is good. Which Way the Wind Blows is decent. I Believe When I Fall in Love with You Will Be Forever. I like that one. In fact, that was the first song I heard off this album, because that's the track that was on the tape when I put it in. White Sugar is badass. Don't Fade Away and Just Time of Year, pretty good. Do You Feel Like We Do? Now that's a big hit, but not this version. The hit that most people know is on Frampton Comes Alive. But you want my honest opinion? This version blows it right out of the water. I feel like the Frampton Comes Alive, the live version, just kind of drags it on for too long. But again, I highly recommend checking this album out too. Again, Peter Frampton, Frampton's Camel. Last and definitely not least, Kansas Song for America. Now this is one of the albums I recommended to my buddy that messaged me the other day. And he got back to me right after he was done listening to it and said it was freaking awesome. The harmonics in it are great. And they are. That song right there, track 6, In Camudro, is Kansas at their finest, hands down. There's nothing anybody can say that'll convince me otherwise, but this album does flow really good together. This whole entire CD or album is just incredible. And I do believe that this is Kansas's best work. I mean, Point of No Return and Left Overture were great, but they are no Song for America in my opinion. Alright, so that's technically the last one. However, I'm a little bit biased because I pretty much have no interest in any music that's coming out now, because most of it doesn't really appeal to me, honestly. I really have not much interest at all in newer rock. However, I have to give credit when it's due. This album came out actually over a year ago now, at the end of 2020. Smith and Myers from Shinedown. I highly recommend it. There's a lot of covers on here. They do a phenomenal job, and there are some originals too. The only thing I wish they would have done is I wish they would have released it as a double disc set instead of having volume 1 and 2 on one. But hey, that's a petty that's a petty argument. But this CD is recorded so well. It sounds really good. Like I said, it's a great album to check out. You know, test a stereo system too. This has good sonics throughout. Not Mad Enough is awesome. Rockin' in the Free World is a Neil Young cover. The Weight of It All is an original song. Incredible. Better Now is okay. Panic is okay. In Excess cover of Never Tear Us Apart. Coast to Coast is probably the best song on here. If you check any song out on this record, make it Coast to Coast. Or Weight of It All. Valerie's really good. Since You're Mine. Unchained Melody is a great cover. Bad at Love is really good. Bad Guy's okay. New School Shiver is up there too, among one of the best tracks on there. Sledgehammer's a Peter Gabriel cover, obviously. Get Busy Living or Get Busy Dying. Rebel Yell. That's an interesting take on Rebel Yell. Like You Never Left. Losing My Religion. It's an R.E.M. cover. One More Time. I believe One More Time is an original. And the Oasis cover of Don't Look Back in Anger. This is probably my most played album last year. Through 2021. So, yeah. If you're in the mood for something new, I highly, highly recommend this CD. And like I said, do yourself a favor. It flows very well in order. Just play it all the way through. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. Anyway, guys, that pretty much sums this video up. Please let me know what you think. Do you disagree with my list? You say, hey, that's a pretty good pile of recommendations. Or maybe you think that my list is complete shit. Either way, please feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you again on the next one.